quote unquote, we can accept the one who is in Dubai because he had the courtesy of informing us earlier. But these two, and they represent two critical portfolio, they must be here. I beg you today on this standing order, you sanction them. Otherwise Parliament will start looking like a barasa in Marinya, in Mutuapa, in Iloyongilani. That cannot be the case. In Maua, who are they to challenge Senate? Who? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Wambua.
Mr. Speaker, we must set the record straight. When sufficient notice is given to a cabinet secretary to appear before a committee of parliament, there can never be an excuse for not appearing. Being on a trip abroad is not a reason for not appearing before a committee of the Senate. It's actually a very shameful excuse. Mr. Speaker, I am impressed by the formulators of our Constitution, the drafters of our Constitution. Because in there, Mr. Speaker, they recognize that the first responsibility and function of the President is to be answerable to Parliament. If the President, the Speaker, is answerable to Parliament, then Cabinet Secretaries who serve at the pleasure of the President must be 10 times answerable to Parliament. Mr. Speaker, I am a bit concerned because, and I speak for the minority side, you know, Mr. Speaker, we had stayed away from these morning sessions on account of a legitimate court process. And once that process has ended, Mr. Speaker, we are back to engage. I don't know whether the cabinet secretaries are afraid of the presence of the minority side in the House and they don't want to face the tough questions that they have to face. Mr. Speaker, I want to plead with you, because if we don't nip this thing on the bud now, then it will become the order of the day, and cabinet secretaries will be giving you excuse after excuse why they cannot appear before the Senate. Mr. Speaker, I implore you to find reason in our own standing orders and in the Constitution to censure these cabinet secretaries and ensure that they appear before the Senate to respond to questions. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, you know, there is a casualness that is creeping in, that a cabinet secretary would have the audacity to write to the Speaker of the Senate of the Republic of Kenya in the morning and tell him that I'm not going to appear before the Senate. Mr. Speaker, I think I know you, Mr. Speaker. Do something. Don't allow these people to mock you because they are mocking you. Mr. Speaker, you sit there for and on behalf of 47 delegations in this country, 47 counties. The questions that we are asking these cabinet secretaries are not on our own behalf. We are asking these questions for the benefit of the people of the Republic of Kenya, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, do something. I thank you.
Senator Kathure.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, also for allowing me to give a comment on this evolving trend by the CSEs. Honorable Speaker, let me first undo the case of my question, which I directed to the CS Treasury. Honorable Speaker, the CS Treasury has been this question for almost 3 months now. He scheduled last week, he did not appear, then another time he did the same. But if you look at the content of my question, it is the money which has not been disbursed to NHIF, because NHIF did their work, they awarded these victims, but then Treasury has not been able to release 11.6 billion to NHIF so that they can pay. So, Mr. Speaker, when the CS now ask us to go to the Minister of Health, he is running away from his responsibility. The Minister of Health does not allocate budgets. If they have given the money that they need is 11.6 to pay these people, then Treasury should be held responsible so that they can be able to pay these victims. These people are already dead, and the beneficiaries or their kins are following this money day in, day out. I have one case which made me to do this and investigate from one of my constituents from Meru, who the wife died due to COVID in 2020. But to date, is owned 7 million by NHIF. He has followed this money. I have assisted him through the Ministry of Health, but still, Mr. Speaker, he is always referred to Treasury. So that is why I don't know how you'll guide me to go ahead, because this question is like the CS is dropping because of the responsibility that he should do. So, Mr. Speaker, I will seek your guidance also to direct that the CS should appear himself, Treasury CS, so that he can be able to answer this question, because I can see he's running away from it. Also, Mr. Speaker, you know you are the chair of SBC, which allocates the businesses of this House. And you know we have no time before the end of this session. So today morning, you allocated time for these CSs and put aside all other businesses that we have in this House. So, Mr. Speaker, when we receive letters in the morning that the CS is not appearing, and we have a lot of pending business, Mr. Speaker, I feel these CSs are not respecting this House, and this is the right time to crack the whip. So, Mr. Speaker, we are very committed to do the work that we are elected to do. And if the CSs are not honoring this House, then they should be sanctioned, Mr. Speaker, so that they can be able to respect this House. This is an honorable House of 47 delegations and the other 27 elected senators. So, Mr. Speaker, I think with your wisdom, before the end of this session, so that the next year we start on a clean footing, you should really do a letter, especially to the end of state, because he has the responsibility. And he's the one actually who supported the CSs to appear in the two houses. So, Mr. Speaker, I think, you know, this is the first time Senator Sifuna has clapped when I'm giving any. Yeah, so, Mr. Speaker, I want to end there so that at least Senator Sifuna can add it to where I have left. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Karungu.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, when we were elected to this House, the President implored us to amend our standing orders for the CSs to appear before us. We had the support of the head of state. So when they don't appear, they don't just show contempt to this House, also to the President of this Republic. And Mr. Speaker, as the feeling of many members, please crack the whip. My committee on roads, transportation and housing, on Monday, after inviting the governor of Kajiado, Olelenku, to appear before us, even after summoning him, he had the audacity of saying that he wouldn't appear 45 minutes before the time the meeting was supposed to start. Mr. Speaker, we fined him, or we gave him a suspended sentence, and fined him $500,000. And if it does not appear tomorrow, it will take effect. Yesterday, Mr. Speaker, and I want the House to listen to me, because we need to do things differently. Yesterday, Mr. Speaker, we also fined the governor of Nairobi, Johnson SAKAJA, who happened to be one time a senator of this great county of Nairobi. We have invited him since November 2022. We are in November 2023, 6 times, and he has never appeared, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we gave that fine because we know he won't even appear tomorrow. And if he doesn't, Mr. Speaker, we are going to invoke Section 19 of the Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Act, that he should be arrested and brought to the committee, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it is a high time that this House is taken with seriousness it deserves, Mr. Speaker. And you know, and especially those governors who are senators, they are giving this House a bad name. I mean, they should be the one to really respect this House because they have been here for about 10 years. And they are the one who are not even appearing in committees. Even my governor of Kiambu, Kimani Wamatangi, Mr. Speaker, has been invited about 6 times. He has not appeared. I think we should crack the whip because for us, in future, we want to be governors and we don't want people to say senators were the worst governors. So we have to do it today. And for the CSs who did not appear today, Mr. Speaker, crack the whip. Give them a fine. Invoke Section 19. Because if you don't do that, we will receive the apologies a minute before we get into the House. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Gloria.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. For me, I want to weigh in on the issue of the disrespect that the Senate is receiving from this cabinet, Mr. Speaker. I believe that when the Kenya Kwanza government ran for office, we are here for the hustler nation, for the people. What else are the cabinet secretaries so busy doing that they cannot come here to answer questions that the hustlers are asking, Mr. Speaker? Because for me today, I was looking forward to engaging with the Minister of Energy, Mr. Speaker. The bills on KPLC are crazy. The rogue billing, there's a lot of things that are happening under KPLC. And we have questions for the people who have sent us here. We have questions, Mr. Speaker. And I think at the rate at which it's going, Mr. Speaker, then I employ the President to kindly make sure that we have the chief administrative secretaries. Because if the cabinet secretaries are now tired of their jobs, let their assistants come in and do that job, Mr. Speaker. It is at this point when we would really appreciate that if the CSs are not there, they are not available, they are busy, they are traveling, whatever it is they're doing, then their assistants, Mr. Speaker, and those people who are already sworn in, let them come, we engage them. This is part of the duties that they could have been doing. The CASs now are sitting somewhere and they could have been serving this country, Mr. Speaker. So I urge that even as you crack the whip, perhaps it is now necessary, and I hope that opposition can see the role, some of the duties and responsibilities that the CASs were going to have. I hope that they can see that it is at this point, we would have gotten the assistant ministers, Mr. Speaker, to tell us what is happening. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Sifuna.
Mr. Speaker, correct me if I'm wrong, but the High Court found that the position of CSS were unconstitutional. We are not going to substitute the people responsible for the ministries for unconstitutional office holders. In fact, Mr. Speaker, if you brought those CSs here, I would not partake of that session. In fact, Mr. Speaker, I think it's the Bible that says that all good things come to those who wait. I don't know if it's the Bible. The Christian fundamentalists are on the other side, they will clarify. Mr. Speaker, I am extremely happy that every single day we have indicated as members of a minority on this floor. Because you will remember that this question of appearance of CSs on the floor of this House originated from a presidential memo. It was the president's own idea, sending his own cabinet secretaries to the floor of this House. We, of course, were in opposition of that particular move because we thought, or it was our thinking then, that it was an unconstitutional way to go around constitutional provisions to bring them before the floor of the House. We actually filed a constitutional reference before the High Court. The High Court disagreed with us and said there's nothing wrong with the CSs appearing before the floor of the Senate. And it is not a coincidence that just the second week when the members of the opposition want to engage robustly with these people, they're already running away, Mr. Speaker. It doesn't make any sense. I was looking forward because we have a serious controversy in this country about the G2G deal. I wanted to look the CS Energy in his eyes and ask him those questions that I've written down here, Mr. Speaker. But he has run away. And this is becoming a habit, even in the committees. My chair of the Housing Committee has just elucidated what we're going through in the committees of the House. Because, Mr. Speaker, you invite a governor to answer questions about his own people. The people of Jericho, Lumumba, Maringo were in the committee yesterday waiting to ask questions through their senator to the governor of Nairobi. He just says he has traveled. And my suspicion, Mr. Speaker, is that this COP28 that is happening in Dubai, is going to be one of the biggest scandals in this country. When the final list of the number of Kenyans who have gone to Dubai is published, we will be embarrassed as a country. I am happy that as a senator I was told there is no money in the Senate, so I decided to just stay at home. Mr. Speaker, you are aware of this issue. So for us, because some of us have serious contributions to make on the matter of climate change and the environment, Mr. Speaker, but we were denied that opportunity. Now my brother Musalia Mudavadi has gone there. I doubt if he can be more eloquent on issues about the environment as I would have been in Dubai, Mr. Speaker. But anyway, let us see what will come out of that particular conference. So we want to say this. Mr. Speaker, in fact, this morning session was created specifically for these cabinet secretaries. We should have been having our committee meetings.
What is the point of order, Senator Boni?
Mr. Speaker, you have heard the remarks by the distinguished Senator of Nairobi about the cabinet secretary. Mr. Speaker, is he in order to drag into this house the fights between him and Mudavadi over the matter of kingship in their community? Is he in order, Mr. Speaker, to bring such a matter here?
Senator Boni, in fact, you are out of order to the extent that you're rising on a point of order on a senator who is contributing on a point of order. To that extent, your point of order is overruled. Conclude, Senator Sifuna.
Mr. Speaker, let me assure Senator Khalwale that I am not in competition for anything with Musalia Mudavadi. I don't see myself competing with him for anything. I'm just saying, and the communication from the Speaker came that he has traveled to COP. I'm just wondering, because you know, this issue of climate change can better be elucidated. I would rather we send Esther Okenyuri, Senator Okenyuri, or my sister Gloria, because the younger generation have a greater appreciation of these matters than some of these guys. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to say that I am deeply disappointed, and we as a House must put our foot down. I am very happy with the Chair of Transport and Housing, the Honorable Senator Thangwa, that he doesn't joke when it comes to respect for the people and the respect of committees of this House. He has fined people liberally, and I want to encourage you, Chairman, that we are all behind you as senators in that committee. Arrest people, drag them before this House, because some of them, they just fly in and fly out, Mr. Speaker, wanasema Kiswahili, wanabadilisha nguo bandarini. We want them to be arrested at the bandari when they are changing their clothes, to be brought before committees of this House. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Mngatana.
Bwana Spika, mimi nilikuwa natarajia kumwona waziri wa kawi Mheshimiwa Chirchir, kwa sababu watu wa Tana River wanajua KETRACO walilipwa pesa ili zile waya zao zipite kwa mashamba ya watu, na watu wanajua mamilioni yalilipwa, lakini wananchi hawakupata hizo pesa. Wananchi wa Tana River wanangojea kuelezwa hizo pesa ziko wapi. Alafu waziri anakosa kukuja na wananchi wanamngojea. Mimi Bwana Spika, ningependa kutoa maoni yangu ya kwamba utoe faini sio ya 1,500, lakini faini ya milioni 1 kwa kila waziri ambaye anakosa kufika kwa bunge la Senate. Kisha Bwana Spika, uandike barua kwa rais kwamba wakati wa kufuta kazi mawaziri, wa kwanza wa kufutwa ni hawa mawaziri ambao wanakosa kufika kujibu maswali ya wananchi. Kwa hayo mengi Bwana Spika, naomba uchukue mkono wako wa nguvu, uwatie adabu hawa watu, manake wanatukosea heshima. Asante Bwana Spika.
Senator Beatrice Agola.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the opportunity. Honorable Speaker, from the word go, this morning I was very keen on the appearance of the respective cabinet secretaries, and particularly, Honorable Speaker, I really wanted to engage the CS Energy and Petroleum. Honorable Speaker, 1 year ago, I raised an issue of faulty transformers in Homa Bay County, and rightfully a response was provided to the Energy Committee, And commitments were made by the same CS on repairs that were to be done by the end of July 2022. Honorable Speaker, up to date, no repair has been undertaken as was committed by Kenya Power and REA in Homa Bay County. And it is on that note that I was really interested in the question that was given by Senator James Murango on the replacement of defective power transformers in Mwea constituency. Honorable Speaker, going forward to Senator Mohamed Chute's question, you see the disruption of power supply in most parts of the country. Honorable Speaker, in the last 3 months, we have seen historical blackouts in this country, one ranging for 20 hours, Honorable Speaker, nationwide, and another just the other Saturday for the whole night. Honorable Speaker, this house is a house of representation. The senators here, when they ask questions, they are representing their constituents, and it is by the coming of the cabinet secretaries here that we can get the different responses to the concerns of Kenyans. Honorable Speaker, on the issue that has been mentioned on COP28, I want to state that the issues of climate change are very important. We can see the raging floods all over the county and its effect, and so I support the conference that is ongoing in Dubai and is looking forward to participating. And Honorable Speaker, as I wound up, I did not get the chance, but I want to add my voice in welcoming the honorable members of the County Assembly of Migori, that in the membership present here, some honorable members have worked with in the past in the executive, and some are friends, and we welcome you to the Senate and hope we will continue working together. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Senator Dulo.